What's up, everyone? It is day 18, 19. I think it's 19 of the challenge. I started the day with self-care, but I figured I'd give you guys an update on where am I at with the challenge. Well, I'm going to be walking tonight. Not going to get on the spin bike, but I'm going to walk, and then I'm going to write later. When I settle in for the night, but I have to go get some supplies because I'm going paddle boating tomorrow, and I don't have. I probably need some water shoes, but we'll see. And apparently I need a cover for my cell phone if I want to take it out into the water with me, which I don't know if I want to do that, but I probably should still have the cover at least so I can make that decision. But anyways, it's going to be an early day tomorrow. But something I did want to talk about, it came up today. So the place that I go to for all of my self-care things, it's a salon. They do brows, facials, lashes, pedis, manis, you name it, all the things. The owner of the salon, she's really, really cool. She works at a university, but also she owns a nonprofit, or has a nonprofit, and owns a salon. She's an entrepreneur. And she had asked me, how are my students doing, or how's school going? And I was like, which one, my students or me as a student? And she's like, oh, well, yeah, you. So I said, well, I'm in the depths of chapter 2 of my doctorate right now. In the depths, and technically part of chapter 3. And she asked me if I use AI tools, and I was like, no, not in the way that like you've used them, which is not a bad thing. And it's just funny because AI tools continuously come up in education conversation. So even last week I was at a meeting, and one of the agenda items was like how to use AI tools in your classroom. The funny thing is, when you're in education, and I even tell this to my students, you have to be willing to try new things because education evolves. It's not going to stay the same. It's always going to be different. That's just the nature of the game. So I'm not opposed to AI tools. I even have a policy in class that says I'm flexible. I'm down with y'all using AI tools. Just make sure that you say that you use AI tools, reference it, basically. But I'm all for teaching students how to use AI as a tool versus like, let me just have AI write my paper. And what I find is that a lot of educators have a lot of fear around AI in general. I shouldn't say just educators. A lot of people have fear around AI. I don't have fear around AI at all. I'm actually totally for it. It's fine. I'm a firm believer that technology is a tool. I don't use it for entertainment purposes, but as a tool. I love smartphones because smartphones can do so many things. I don't just watch YouTube videos from it. I'm able to access my bank account. I can calculate. I can plan things. I can work from my phone. It's a mini computer, and I love that. As an older millennial that functions like a Gen Xer, I love smartphones. Actually like the Crackberry, aka the Blackberry back in the day, because I could do so much from it. I love having really good technology tools. So I see AI as a really good tool. And recently I used Padlet. Well, I've been using Padlet in my class, but discovered that I could use Padlet AI. And I was like, what is that? And I discovered that this week. And the cool thing was, I had an assignment or an activity we were going to do in class. I wanted students to write their thesis statement for their project, for their paper. And so I was able to tell Padlet AI what I wanted the students to do, and it gave me 10 different ideas on how they could do the activity. I thought that was genius. So I was able to pick one, excuse me, that was very similar to what I wanted them to do, but it provided the instructions. It just gave the whole layout. That's great. That's a tool. That's like enhancing my day-to-day work life. So no issues there. But back to the conversation at hand, which was like, so do you use AI for your paper? And I said, not in the capacity that probably most people do. I said, at most, I use Grammarly because we're encouraged to use Grammarly. I know Grammarly can do, like, look at edits and stuff, but I also know that it can do the AI stuff too. Can enhance your thoughts. And I'm like, that's been really helpful, but I still have to like reword it into my own words and do all of that. But she was like, you know how many papers I've scored well on? And started naming these different AI tools. And I'm like, wow, this is fascinating. And I know the institution that she's working at has fully embraced AI. And actually their motto is, if we don't embrace it, we're going to be behind. And the funny thing is, I honestly agree with that. I do agree with it. And when I think about the meeting I was at last week, the folks that were from the institution she works at, they were talking about it and what they're doing with students. So it'll be interesting over time. You know, I'm at a community college, much smaller institution, not at a state university, so it's just a different vibe. But I don't have the fear. And so I was like, do you guys offer webinars, trainings, PDs? Because I would love to hear an expansion on this conversation and what you guys are doing with students. Because I feel like part of overcoming the fear, not for myself, but just to help others kind of see it, is that I have to continuously educate myself on the topic. So my point is, I'm not opposed to AI, but I do have a moment when my chair told me that one of her students got through chapter 1 through 3 in literally 9 weeks. And I've told my mother, I said, there's no way this person got through those 3 chapters in no freaking 9 weeks without using AI. I just don't believe it. There's no way. The literature review alone is 30 to 50 pages. So you're trying to convince me with your toddler, and you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, unless you own it and you just collecting a check, that basically you had all the time in the world to basically write 3 chapters in 9 weeks? And it's taking me, again, I'm speaking for myself, it's taken me at least 18 weeks per each chapter. 18 weeks. But somehow this person did it in 9. So, again, we have to embrace AI to a certain degree, but don't sell me dreams and ideas that people are writing these extensive papers and doing it in 9 weeks. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I won't believe it. You're not going to convince me. I know for a fact that this person had to use some AI. So, anyways, I don't know if this is helpful for educators. I don't know if this is helpful for students. But if nothing else, make sure you know what AI is all about. All right, guys, I gotta go. Later.